In this video, I'll preview Tesla's Q4 earnings and what to expect. Spoiler alert, records across the board, all expectations completely blown away. I'll review and answer the most popular questions retail investors want asked on the call, because why not? And I'll share what to expect in the days and weeks following Tesla's earnings results and its potential impact on Tesla stock. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. What to expect in Tesla's Q4 2021 earnings. As we can see, in Q3 2021, Tesla delivered 241,300 vehicles. In Q4 2021, Tesla delivered a stunning 308,600 vehicles, blowing away everyone's expectations, even the most bullish folks on Wall Street. A huge beat that no one saw coming apart from at least one person on YouTube. My guess was less than 0.5% off. Just saying. So rather than getting too tricky with Tesla's Q4 earnings, what to expect in terms of revenue, profits, etc., let's just do some really rough ballpark numbers to get a fairly good sense of where things are likely to come in. So this is going to be quite simple. Let's punch in 308,600 deliveries in Q4, divide that by the number of vehicles delivered in Q3, and we can see an increase of about 28% in terms of vehicle deliveries, Tesla's primary driver of revenue, profits, blah, 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 everything. This isn't their entire business, but it is currently the vast majority, so this is a great proxy. We can now use this number to do some really rough estimates. Try not to fall asleep, don't worry, this won't take long. Where have I said that before? Anyway, so here are Tesla's Q3 numbers: revenue, gross profit, operating income, and net income. And all I've done here, really simple. Again, this is crude. This isn't going to be a perfect example. We'll talk about some of the nuance here, but all I've done is added 28%, approximately the increase in deliveries quarter over quarter, as a really rough proxy. Where might these numbers be? Revenue, close to 18 billion, gross profit, close to 5, operating income, over 2.5 billion, net income, over 2 billion. If we annualize these numbers, revenue would be at a run rate of over 70 billion, gross profit close to 20 billion, and operating income over $10 billion. Keeping in mind that the annualized rate is going to change and increase every quarter as Tesla increases their production, they increase their revenues, and they've got 2 new facilities opening this year, currently scaling, plus Shanghai is expanding, plus they're squeezing more capacity out of Fremont. And just to be clear, this isn't a prediction, this is just an example of how to do some really rough ballpark numbers to get a sense of where Tesla's numbers might come in Q1 2022 and for the full year. This is a simplified version of the math many Wall Street stock analysts will have done and will be doing ahead of Tesla's earnings. However, there's a few things that are going to throw a spanner in the works here that make me extremely confident Tesla will exceed all expectations. Tesla has been consistently increasing their prices over the last year. They just can't do anything other than that because there's so much demand. Wait times are 6+ months for many of these vehicles. That means that many of the price increases have yet to flow through to Tesla's bottom line because customers have been waiting for that order to be delivered. I expect we're going to see a big boost to margins as a direct result of this in Q4. I also believe more Plaid sales in Q4 with higher margins as well. Not a huge percent, will have a minimal impact. But these are 2 forces that I think will drive Tesla's margins and profits a lot higher. Tesla also has some deferred tax benefits which they can recognize in any quarter of their choosing. Maybe that happens this quarter as well. Most analysts will ignore that because it's a one-off, but this could potentially create some ridiculous numbers. And now just quickly over to hypercharts to take a look visually at what Tesla's been doing over the last few years. We're looking at quarterly results here. Vehicles delivered, clearly the trend heading in one direction, and we're going to see this trend continue to play out in Q4. Revenue also trending in the right direction. It's early days, we are at the very beginnings of an exponential growth curve. Tesla's deliveries, their revenue, their profits, everything is going to be following that trend. I don't think most folks on Wall Street are expecting Tesla to show such massive margins and make so much money this quarter. The consensus estimates on where Tesla is at versus what they'll do, not even close. And on top of that, analysts are nowhere near the mark with their consensus estimates for Tesla earnings and deliveries in the full year 2022. In the immediate wake of Tesla's blowout earnings, I think the majority of analysts will massively increase their earnings and delivery estimates for Tesla in 2022. 2022, that's likely to have a very positive impact on the stock price. We're now on the SAY website where retail and institutional investors can submit their questions for Tesla's Q4 earnings call. Then other investors can vote on these. So we're going to look at and discuss some of the most popular questions. What's the current volume of 4680 cells? Please update us on progress of in-house battery cell and structural pack production. I expect that we're going to hear something along the lines of just ironing out the last final few things for quality of high volume production. We're producing enormous quantities already. Many of these have been driving around in vehicles for more than last year, and it will appear in our new factories this year. As free cash flows grow well in excess of capital expenditures, what will you do with the pile of cash? This is actually a great question. Accelerate gigafactories, accelerate battery production, finance your own fleet of robo-taxis and grid storage, something else? How are you thinking about this? The truth is, Tesla's pile of cash is becoming a problem. They're moving as fast as they can. They're accelerating their plans as quickly as possible. The limiting factors are currently battery cells and talent. That's it. They're the two constraints on Tesla's continued growth and progress. Could Tesla open the floodgates here somehow? They'd certainly be able to up their spending, but not an enormous amount. They're such an extremely resourceful and lean company. They do so much with so little capital. So I think the response will be we're moving as fast as we can. Maybe, if they're in the mood, they might discuss the fact that in the future, it's probably going to be some heavy investment in the Tesla bot, but I'm not sure whether or not that will come up on this call. Tesla's already at a point where they cannot spend their money any faster, and they're piling up billions every quarter. By mid this decade and beyond, the numbers are going to be absolutely absurd. Tesla will be making such obscene profits, the amount of cash will be growing at an ever-increasing rate. Maybe they begin share buybacks, maybe they start paying dividends. They're already moving flat out. Unless they can use that money to solve the two biggest constraints, battery cells and talent, don't know what else they're going to do but pile up money, pay dividends, or buy back shares, or some combination, and maybe buy some Dogecoin just to piss off the Wall Street investors. Given the previous guidance for 50% growth each year for years to come, is it possible that with 2 new gigafactories coming online, we could see closer to 100% growth in 2022 and or 2023? The obvious answer to this question is yes. I think Tesla will be relatively coy on talking about 100%, but definitely say it's certainly going to be above 50%. If you do the math, obviously 2 massive new factories ramping simultaneously, massively expanding Tesla's production capacity at the same time, is going to have a huge outsized impact on their production and delivery growth over the next couple of years. We have a great question here. What percentage of Tesla owners that are eligible for Tesla insurance have signed up? What metrics are you watching to help estimate the future rate of adoption and retention? I'll answer the second part first. This insurance is going to become a no-brainer. Tesla will have the best data. Nobody will be able to price insurance on Tesla vehicles better than Tesla themselves, and Tesla vehicles get cheaper over time, therefore insurance costs will continue to decline. At some point in the future, effectively every customer will be using Tesla insurance. Now, yeah, maybe there's an exception or two in the market where they can't get approval, but the point is, long-term, it's going to be a no-brainer. If you can get Tesla insurance, you will. At this point in time, the take rate's probably not great. Tesla doesn't really promote this particularly heavily. I think as the rates become more compelling, Tesla's going to have more incentive to tell more customers about this, and I expect Tesla insurance will take off quite dramatically in the next few years. Question regarding Tesla Arcade. My daughter asked me to cancel Apple Arcade subscription and spend that $5 a month for games at Tesla. She enjoys games in Tesla over any other device/room. Take a moment to think about that. This is an experience many other kids and adults have as well. Consider this next time we hear somebody say that Tesla is just a car company or refers to a Tesla as a car rather than a computer on wheels. So the question, when would you consider adding a subscription for games? It's too good to be free. I think at some point in the future, Tesla is actually going to have an extremely large revenue stream for software subscriptions, whether it's for games, communication, entertainment, infotainment, some combination thereof. As vehicles become autonomous, drivers and passengers no longer need to pay any attention to what's going on outside the vehicle whatsoever. Everyone in the vehicle can be fully engaged with their screens through the software. I think this is going to become absolutely enormous. The question is, will Tesla have a subscription service where you can subscribe and access some or all content, or will they have individual purchases or some combination thereof? My guess, probably a combination. There aren't too many folks on Wall Street today modeling in Tesla gaming, Tesla entertainment revenue in the future. Many skeptics in terms of autonomy. Another user asking for an update on the $25,000 compact car. I think Tesla will say stay tuned, we'll have an announcement in the future, maybe later this year. I expect probably late this year the $25,000 Tesla is unveiled, but there is one potential spinner in the works here. That is, of course, the Model Y ramping simultaneously in Berlin and Austin. Tesla is going to need to be very delicate about how they unveil this vehicle. I expect that they don't want a huge lead time between unveil versus actual production and deliveries beginning. And the reason is people who are thinking about a Model 3 or Y to stretch themselves into this, if there's an alternative, A much more economical Tesla maybe doesn't have all the same features and functionality, but it's still a Tesla, still a great vehicle, still super safe, and still has access to the software. I think there's going to be a ton of consumers that go, okay, $25,000 Tesla it is. Now I expect with inflation, this is probably going to be a $30,000 starting price, give or take, but I'm very curious to see how Tesla approaches this. I would be very surprised, stunned in fact, if the unveil occurs any more than 6 to 9 months before first deliveries are expected, and how Tesla balances the release and timing of the $25,000 vehicle while at the same time they're massively ramping Model Y in 2 new factories. It's hard to know for sure. Does Tesla have plans to release a small pickup truck other than the Cybertruck? Also, any plans for a van or an RV? Van, RV, unlikely. I think people at some point can kind of convert vans. I don't think it makes sense for Tesla to do that. Low volume market, somebody else can play there. As for a smaller pickup truck rather than the Cybertruck, I think it's a possibility. Maybe Tesla at some point in the future, if the numbers are there and they're selling enough Cybertrucks, may actually make a more compact vehicle that uses some of the same manufacturing techniques, steel exoskeleton, the same sort of a look. The thing that I'm not sold on is whether or not Tesla would make a more conventional looking pickup truck. They certainly could, and if it makes sense, they will. The real question here is there going to be enough of a void in the market given that many people who would have purchased a traditional looking pickup truck instead opt for a Cybertruck, especially due to its features and functionality. This thing is more utilitarian than a conventional pickup truck. The only cases where it really doesn't make sense is if you need to have a completely flat bed because the sides don't come down, or potentially in extremely cold weather scenarios where you're needing to tow something that has more mass than your mother. In short, I expect Tesla has no immediate plans to produce any other version of pickup truck. Cybertruck is it's the one, but maybe over the ultra long term, definitely a possibility. Techno King, when might we see a working prototype of Optimus? Will he take orders for the Tesla bot at that time? And what might the pricing range be for the first generation Tesla bot? This is a great question as well. If asked on the call, I doubt we'd get very specific answers here. I have absolutely no idea how much the first generation Tesla bot would cost, for example. My best guess over the long term, not first generation, but long term, the hardware, maybe around the $25,000 range. Depending on how precise the actuators, etc. are, how much compute is required for the full self-driving / AGI software, blah, 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 blah. I don't expect we'll see a working prototype of the Optimus bot until at least 2024, but hey, time will tell. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I think it's going to be quite a few years before Tesla has anything compelling. However, Tesla has been known to blow away expectations in the past. This may certainly be one of those situations. What's the maximum planned capacity for Austin and for Berlin? Now, I have no idea what the actual numbers are. However, we already know the Berlin factory ultimate long-term capacity should exceed 2 million units. Plans were submitted for approval, showing the first stage alone, 500,000 vehicles. There are 4 stages in total. Pretty simple math. 500,000 times 4 equals 2 million. Never mind the fact that Tesla continues to eke out more production efficiencies in terms of the manufacturing process. They delete parts, they delete robots, they delete processes, they delete things. So over time, that capacity for 500,000 vehicles could dramatically increase, 600, 700,000, maybe even more. So long term, the Berlin factory, in my opinion, fact check me in 5-10 years time and let's see what happened. At least 2 million, maybe 2.5, potentially up to 3 million units. I'm expecting probably on the lower end of that. As for the Austin factory, the world's biggest fucking building, which is also located on an enormous site I have visited in person, it seems obvious that in the long term, this will be at least the same size as Berlin, likely significantly larger. Everything's bigger in Texas. My best guess, long term, Austin, 3+ million vehicles per year, and likely the production center, at least initially, for the Tesla bot. I also expect that will be the location that Tesla's US-based $25,000 vehicle is produced. In short, Berlin, call it 2+ million, Austin, call it 3+ million. Combined, those factories long-term, 5+ million units per year. So, hope you guys and girls have enjoyed the video. Quick recap, Tesla is going to blow Wall Street expectations away. It's going to blow retail investor expectations away with Q4 earnings. Can't just extrapolate based on the number of deliveries in Q3 to Q4. It's a great ballpark number, but there's a lot of nuance there. Price changes starting to flow through because of the long wait times. These price changes didn't have an immediate impact. Tesla's gross automotive margins likely to exceed 30%, which is a mind-blowing number. 2 to 3 times other automotive companies. But remember, Tesla is just a car company. Wall Street are going to bust nuts left, right, and center in the wake of Tesla's blowout earnings results. There'll be massive increases to earnings estimates for Q1 and for the full year in 2022. Big increases to delivery estimates. Tesla will be fairly vague in their guidance. They'll reiterate 50% plus compound annual rate of growth, but won't go into much more detail than that. And I thought it was fun to run through some of the questions investors want answered on the Q4 earnings call. As always, I'll be streaming the call so you guys and girls can join in the chat, say hello, have fun, be there in the moment to react. And to save you the time waiting for Tesla's Q4 earnings, I can already tell you records across the board on literally everything that matters. Don't say I didn't warn you. And as for the potential impact on Tesla stock, it seems quite probable, even with the current fear in the market, the macroeconomic environment massively affecting growth stocks, including Tesla. Seems extremely likely that blowing away expectations, analysts massively increasing their expectations for earnings, deliveries, etc., Tesla stock is going to have a very, very, very strong tailwind. Let's just leave it at that. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can get 2 free stocks with WeBull, a free stock with Stake, free Bitcoin with Coinbase, and free Bitcoin with BlockFi, and the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.